am honored to be the principal at Fort Hunt Elementary School, where the climate is terrific. Children are embraced here from many, many cultures. They learn to respect themselves and to respect one another. We recognize the fact that many of our children are talented artists, musicians, authors, and writers. This focus has grown into a collection of artworks, crafts, and dramatic productions, and from this has grown a museum school where others are welcome to visit and share and learn with us. Fort Hunt is currently in its 7th year as a partial Spanish immersion school. 2/3 of this year's first grade is enrolled in this program, where they are learning to speak Spanish through their study of math, science, and health. The dedicated and talented staff provides challenge and enrichment to all students. Over 200 volunteers during the year further help to enrich our environment. Our mission is to provide an atmosphere and resources which promote academic excellence and stimulate positive personal development. Together, we celebrate our cultural likenesses and our differences.
Fort Hunt Elementary School is located near Mount Vernon Plantation on land once owned by George Washington. How appropriate that a Colonial Museum should be located here.
Fort Hunt has done the Colonial Museum for years and years and years. I have an older son that went through it several years ago. It's a total involvement with all the 4th grades on learning styles. It will be culminated in a trip down to Williamsburg where they get to see actual reenactments of everything that they've studied. They do all kinds of projects, including a dinner, all kinds of craft projects and things that they do.
This is 4th grade at Fort Hunt Elementary, and we put together a colonial museum that has a lot of colonial things that colonial children made from the colonial period.
Back in the old days, they used to do quilling a lot. It first started out by churches decorating the church with quilling, and they used to call it by another name, filigree.
Hex signs were first used by the Pennsylvania Dutch. They were used to decorate barns and houses. They were also used to keep away evil spirits.
This is stenciling. It was a very popular pastime back in the 18th century. And over on the wall, the oval shapes are the stencilings we made in the classroom, and it was very fun to do.
This is the Jamestown Settlement, and these are the farmlands, and these are the beaches, and these are the docks, and these are some of the houses. These are 3 ships bringing supplies to the colonists, and these are unloading their supplies, and that ship is just coming right in.
This is a colonial plate. We made it with 2 paper plates, and so we put clay inside of it. Then we smushed the clay with 2 paper plates, and the clay was in the middle. So we smushed it together and rounded off. And then we put it in the oven, and it froze. And after that, we put some glaze on it and made our own design.
This is a pineapple. The sign means welcome. And these are all the 4th grade plates that we made.
This is a fish drying rack, and a fisherman would have used this to dry his fish after he went fishing.
This is a drying rack for candles that the candle makers used to dry their candles when they finished making them. Here we have the 4th grade silhouettes, and we made them by sitting in a chair with a light on ourselves, and they were traced, and then we cut them out and glued them on white paper.
Do you think we're going to get soap out of this?
No, it doesn't look like it.
Why?
Sauce. Watery.
Correct.
Alright, first thing says, it was very hot. Other one says, scalding white-hot sunlight beat down, merciless waves of heat rose up from the blistering pavement. Where they met, I stood as though in a blast furnace.
At Fort Hunt, achieving academic excellence begins with a strong foundation in developing language arts skills.
All right, which of those is better?
The second one.
Okay. Everybody agree?
Yes.
All right, what makes it better?
The way that it's very descriptive and it tells like more about the heat than the first sentence did.
Okay.
This is a 5th grade writing workshop. This is a lesson on descriptive writing. I am a writer, and teaching kids to write is important to me. It's exciting. I like to do that. We talk about, at 5th grade level, use of more interesting vocabulary. I tell kids that all writing can be done in three parts: a jazzy, pizzazzy beginning, the part that's tell more, and then a dynamite closing. And the tell more sort of collapses into pages if you're doing a term paper or a long story. And it can be just the middle of a short poem. Writing is such an abstract concept for kids to grasp that the more concrete you can make it, the better off you are.
Blood freezing cold.
Bump raising.
I love it.
I'm always hammering into my kids that you have to start with step 1, which is just jotting down your ideas, and I teach them a variety of ways to jot down their ideas to get started, because once you can actually see words on paper, the idea of writing something has moved already from the abstract to the real. It's too scary for kids to just pick up a pencil or a pen and start writing something like write me a story. You're not giving the kids the safety net that they need to become effective writers, and they need that, because writing skills can be like walking on a tightrope for kids. So I like for them to have a comfort zone, and I think doing a good job with step 1 gives them that.
This is scene 1, just scene 1, that's all. What we're going to do is start out. Kiera, in a minute, off in the background, is going to ring a little buzzer. That's going to be the alarm clock. This group is from Mrs. Batutis's 1st grade. We have been working on puppets for the last couple of weeks as a tie-in to the fine arts program in 1st grade. The children have never actually performed a puppet show. This is the very first one they've done, so it's very new to them. We tried to work, first of all, on the puppets themselves. They've been working on that for the first 3 weeks, and now we're trying to put together the puppet show for the first time. To make the puppets, I gave each child a paper sack, and they looked at the pictures in the book to try to determine what their character looked like. Then after we completed decorating the puppets, we went through the story and determined what we needed for props and how we were going to make those. I feel this is a good way for children to reinforce their reading, because they have to know the story well, first of all, in order to be able to design the characters and the puppets. And then also seeing it in a play format, which is a little bit different than they're used to. They're able to pull the main ideas from the story in a little bit different way. But it all ties into reading, oral presentation, reinforcement of all the language arts skills.
I'll put a blanket inside.
Don't worry, said Owen's mother. It'll be all right, said Owen's father. Then suddenly Owen's mother said, I have an idea. It was an absolutely wonderful, positively perfect, especially idea.
The Reading Buddy program is something that we've been doing for many years. We try to put children together on different grade levels, but not very far apart. We have 1st and 3rd graders, and the 2nd graders in this situation are strong readers. so that the first graders can gain confidence while they're reading to the second and third graders. In turn, the second and third graders can feel that their skills are being put to good use. So it's something that works well for both. They work with the kids all year long and they get to know each other, and so they're peer tutoring as well as just practicing and building their confidence. My classroom is a second and third grade combination where I teach language arts and social studies. Today we read the poem Ebenezer Bleezer's Ice Cream Store, which is an absurd concoction by Jack Perletsky.
Baked potato. Lobster lychee lima bean. Mozzarella mangosteen. Almond ham meringue salami. Yam anchovy prune pastrami.
And the children have learned that by listening to the words, that the words create an image or a picture in their mind, and then they go ahead and they draw it out however they have seen it or interpreted it. I chose the poem because it's fun, and they have all year have been illustrating different types of poems, but this is one that they really got excited about. I think you could see that they're thinking about what they could put together and then how they could make it appealing to the eye, even though it really is an unappealing concoction.
Fort Hunt Elementary has adopted a fine arts focus for their school. While not an official focus or magnet school for fine arts per se, the school includes a tremendous amount of the arts as part of a comprehensive approach to enrich and enhance the basic academic program.
We came back to the A section. We did the same thing twice. We did Moon Moon first, then we changed and did something different, but we came back to this A section.
This third grade class will be doing recorders today, also a creative movement exercise. All third grade children do recorders. It's a hands-on activity in which they have a chance to learn what the notes are on the staff, learn the fingering, and just be able to look at the music and with an instrument in their hand be able to play it. We're also doing some creative movement today with a poem that the boys and girls are learning.
The golden moon now appears. Moonlight glitters over the earth.
Music is an important part of the curriculum here at Fort Hunt. It isn't anything that's different probably from any other school, but we feel like that the kids have a chance to integrate what they're doing in the classroom with what we also do or try to do in the music room. Music is a discipline. When the kids are able to incorporate what they are doing in the classroom with what they are doing in music, they can see a continuum of something that's going on all the time.
In dance, we're now focusing, because this is Asian and Pacific Month, Heritage Month, we're now focusing in on dances from various countries in Asia. We always start off with a warm-up first, just to get us moving, and then I'll choose various artists, not only from traditional forms, but as you heard the music this morning, from jazz and other modern forms of music. So we did a jazz routine from a jazz artist, and then later we worked on a dance from Thailand, which was more traditional. I think it's good for movement. It helps the kids to be more aware of their body movement, visually conscious. A couple of weeks ago, I had the children working on sculpture. So we did human sculpture in the form of dance. So it helps them get a perspective visually, kinesthetically, and tactically in all forms. So it still touches every area in the learning modes.
Once they leave Mrs. Williams' classroom, they're so pumped up, and it also settles them down too. They feel very good about themselves. They come down to the room, and they're more eager and willing to put forth effort and work to their fullest potential. So it does flow over into the classroom. It coincides very well with the social studies curriculum. And the social studies curriculum, we're learning about others, respecting, understanding other nationalities and customs and culture. So when Mrs. Williams introduces them to a dance and the music that goes along with the dance, then we do further research on it, and we write stories, and the children, they do additional art projects to follow up as well. It gives them a better understanding of whole and respect of others in general.
I try to introduce the kids to a multicultural facet of art and dance. Because Fairfax County focuses on various cultural groups throughout the year, then that's what I try to do with my art, as well as whatever the kids are studying in social studies or science. I will also adapt lessons to just enhance their program. With the lesson that we were doing this morning, it was a Japanese printing lesson called Goya Katu.
The fishermen used to come back and brag about how big their fish were. And then if nobody was there to see how big the fish was, no one knew if they were telling the truth or not. So they would start making prints of the fish, and that would prove how big the fish was when they caught it. Now come here, can you take your hand and gently, let's just press it down. But use your fingertips. Feel it so you can feel his face, get his eyeball, lips. Let's get all that in there. Okay, let's pull it up and see. Beautiful job. Look, excellent.
Que está hecho de puro puntas. No hay ninguna línea.
Árboles.
Árboles, sí.
Y tiene...
Parece un parque, ¿verdad?
The purpose of the Art Appreciation Program here at Fort Hunt Elementary School is to allow children to look, listen, and discuss works of art in an enjoyable atmosphere, in a spontaneous manner. And we do that by using parent volunteers coming in and working with our collection of art that we have established over the last 2 years. What we have found is that we have been able to take art and use it as a jumping off point for the rest of our curriculum. In other words, we may take a piece of art by a famous artist and not only learn about the artist and his art, the elements of art, the lines, the shapes, the colors, the forms, but we can use that piece often as a jumping off point for history, learning about the time period that that painting was done. And by looking at the art itself and what the artist was trying to convey, we are able to learn about all sorts of things in history. We can use learning about lines and shapes in math, and we learn about science.
Boy is running by the...
Oh, Matachana.
Matachana, my sister.
Oh, Matachana, my sister. You must see the things I have. Where's Thomas?
It's important to have fine arts in the school because it ties in with the entire curriculum. We have the entire 4th grade curriculum written into this play. We're starting out at the point where Pocahontas is in England and she meets John Smith, and then we're going to do a flashback and take John Smith to Jamestown, and from there he meets Pocahontas and then move on back up to England, and then she will die in the end, and John Rolfe will go back to Jamestown, remarry, and die also. So that's where we will be.
Hey, John Smith, what now?
Can you say please?
Can you say please?
Oh, Smith, you are in a fine mess.
Oh, John Smith, you are in a fine mess.
Ha, 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 ha.
Ha, 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 ha.
It really helps the children to synthesize everything that they've learned in their textbook. It also helps them to relive it, because drama is seeing something as it actually happened.
Fine mess.
Ha, 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 ha.
Ha, 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 ha.
The Spanish Partial Immersion program at Fort Hunt allows students at all grade levels the opportunity to expand their education by learning health, math, and science in a foreign language, as is the case in this study on the environment.
Cuando yo digo alto, necesita parar, no pueden recoger más. Empiezan. They are playing a game in which they represent different types of sea animals, and they're trying to find out how plastic garbage can damage sea animals. So the first round, the children need to collect all cubes, as many as they can, and return. And when they calculate how much each cube is worth by color, it tells them how many calories they need to live for a week. And the second time, each different type of sea animal has encountered some sort of difficulty, like a plastic ring from a six-pack or a plastic bag, and they're damaged. And this time when they go to collect their food, they run into a bit more difficulty. And last time they'll do it, they will collect a different color cube they haven't seen before, and this will represent little plastic balls, basically, so very small items of plastic. And they'll need to deduct those calories from their total.
For students in the regular English-speaking class setting, learning math becomes fun when different methods of presentation are included in the lesson plan.
Kids were playing a game called Orders of Operations, in which they're actually practicing the order of operation, in which, in a math equation, you always do what is in parentheses first. However, if there is no parentheses, then you need to do multiplying first, followed by division. Once that's done, you do addition, followed by subtraction. The day of sitting down at a desk and just practicing using paper and pencil in mathematics is gone. Kids aren't motivated by that. They're bored by it. They don't want to do it. So you have to reach out and you have to seek other things that they're going to be interested in, other things that are going to motivate them. You have a goal number. Let's say that you wanted to get 15. How can you change the rules of the game to get closer to 15?
You could change from, instead of doing multiplying first, you could divide first and then multiply.
The reason I changed the rule of the game is that it creates a situation in which you get higher level thinking that occurs. Oftentimes kids don't deal well with change. They want to do what they've normally been doing. It's much easier to do that. So when you throw them a little curve, it forces them to think. And then as they sit and they think, without a lot of teacher prompting, they continue to think. And that's really kind of the goal that I'm after in a classroom, is to get the kids to think mathematically as opposed to computing, because you can compute with a calculator. You can't solve problems, literal problem solving, with a calculator, but you can with your mind.
Students at Fort Hunt go beyond the classroom to develop academically and socially by participating in a variety of clubs and teams, including those students who deliver the TV news.
I guess the most important thing about the news program is it allows children to develop a confidence working as though they're working in front of people, but they're working on camera. If we can give our children confidence, they're able to use that in almost anything they do in life. But the children are actually learning how to write news. We have children learning how to operate the camera and the technical end of the newsroom as well. And we're learning how to become speakers. The reporters do go out and do the research and then come on the news and report to the school about what's happening.
We have a peer mediation team here at Fort Hunt Elementary School, and the purpose of this is to give children skills to manage the various conflicts that they will have, whether they be minimal, everyday irritations or large conflicts that may confront them in life, or just rather challenging situations with their peers. When the children work in the elementary level in mediation, they are able to do some things that I am not even able to do as well. Because children, when they are confronted with other children who are in an authority and a helping position, tend to follow the directions and be willing to go ahead and take the steps to make compromises and make an agreement where each of the student disputants are having their needs met. Each one is getting part of what he or she wanted with a win-win situation.
This is the after-school arts program. This is the dance portion. The first group that you see is the 1st through 3rd graders doing tap and jazz. The tap dancing was started at the beginning of the year for our fine arts focus. It's an extension to bring self-esteem and some group activities to the kids after school. The second group that you see is the 4th, 5th, and 6th graders, and they're doing a little bit more advanced tap dancing. They love to get together after school. This brings a sense of club for them, and it's something that they feel really proud of, and they're very excited to do it every day.
Recently, we have started a children's garden club here at Fort Hunt Elementary. As you can see, we have a 45-member club where we have volunteer staffs who help out in helping with this particular garden. This is also sponsored by a volunteer from one of the local garden clubs. The club meets every Monday afternoon, and we do a lot of hands-on type activities that gets them closer to nature and also provides them an opportunity to actually garden and work in the ground.
On the last day of school at Fort Hunt, children leave our hallways and their classrooms and our schoolyard with a sad feeling. I've often stood by the school bus and waved goodbye to them as they have tears in their eyes, although they would not admit they weren't ready to leave school and enjoy summer vacation. I think children gain so much at Fort Hunt. It's a family to them, it's a safe place. It's a place where learning is fun.